Video games. Filled with rhubarb and cream cheese, served on a hot Parisian morning, a video game goes well with an elegant breakfast by the balcony. Oh, those are crepes? What the fuck's a video game then? Video games. The futuristic art of selling fragments of your soul for momentary and limited godhood. People and insects have been playing video games for just under 12 years. As we approach the 13th birthday of video games, let's take a look at the upcoming video games that I wish I could just play right now. Just want to grease them up and hog them down. Here's Flaucho Garseegian's top 10 most anticipated games for the rest of 2023 into 2024. Number 10. Cat Quest, Pirates of the Caribbean. Yargg. Meow. Common things that might be said by a pirate of feline descendants when plumaging for luggage or snacking on some crisp salmon. Can't wait for 2024 to play this one. Number 9. Little Kitty, Big City. Yargg. Meow. Common things that might be said by a cat exploring the world when lost in a big city. Can't wait for 2024 to play this one. Number 8. Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, remade and remastered. Yargg. Meow. Okay, enough horsing around. So here's my actual list. Assuming the game would come out fully completed, here are the top 10 games I wish I could just play right now. Games that I'm looking forward to getting into day one when they release. Not every game here has a set release date yet, but I only included games confirmed for development as opposed to any rumors or things I wish might come out, like a new Pokemon game or something. But with that said, number 10. A new Pokemon game or something? In actuality, this spot goes to the upcoming DLC packs for Scarlet and Violet, the Teal Mask and Indigo Disc. More of a contractual, I will always play new main series Pokemon stuff than sheer excitement. I do have to say the themes seem pretty intriguing so far. A masked festival and legendary Amon along with a new goofy trio. Love that monkey. And the Indigo Disc has a cool quad biome thing going on, and hopefully this tease hints at some kind of battle tower type facility as well. I'm always down for new Pokemon added, and seeing how battles shake up with the return of previous Pokemon, so getting an excuse to play some more Violet is awesome. With new things to explore, story segments, and hopeful quality of life buffs, I'm looking forward to going back to Paldea this fall. Number 9. The Plucky Squire. Sometimes you view something that just pulls you in through your eye stems. Makes you feel like a kid again, watching the town magician at some kid's birthday party in Watchung Plaza, awestruck with wonder. Devolver Digital being a fave publisher of mine, my interest was caught just with the 2D Zelda reminiscent style. But seeing the visual transition to 3D just fills me with that childlike wonder again. It seems like a little bit Link Between Worlds, a little bit of classic fairy tale lore. The Plucky Squire looks like a cosmic gumbo I can't wait to consume when it arrives later this year, bringing a mishmash of perspective styles and different slices of action-adventure and gameplay. Number 8. WarioWare, Move It. Like a Portuguese jellyfish that just won't quit, the Man O' Wah returns with another wacky installment of whack-filled wackadoos in the form of a brand new WarioWare game. With over 200 micro games to chuckle through, the gameplay mechanic focusing on movement harkens back to the Wii era of motion gaming. With co-op micro games and multiplayer, WarioWare Move It could be a great addition to the Switch's party lineup. And with things like Captain Crunch and an abomination of Wario and Train fusion, this will hopefully continue WarioWare's reign as one of the most irreverently fun series out there. Number 7. Mortal Kombat 1. Coming off the heels of an excellent Street Fighter 6 launch, fighting games are in a great spot right now, with a ton of awesome games on the horizon in different subgenres, with most developers really taking things to heart like netcode and accessibility options to help reach the widest audience ever. So all these new installments of classic franchises are also on notice to really deliver, and I'll always be interested in a new Mortal Kombat. Being the only traditional fighter I actually played every installment of over the years as a casual teen, the juxtaposition of martial arts, outlandish character designs, and good old campy sex and gore always drew me in growing up. This soft reboot looks just as visceral as always, with the cameo assist option seeming like a fun way to mix up the formula of NRS's Goliath. Number 6. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. So I'm like the biggest fake fan of Dragon Quest. I've always loved the look of the series, but I don't think I've even ever played any Dragon Quest games outside of the 11 demo. However, as an OG Pokemon fanatic, I got into all the monster catching games I could in the 90s, and the original Dragon Quest Monsters for Game Boy Color was absolutely a favorite of mine. This new installment of The Dark Prince looks like it checks all the boxes. Iconic DQ monsters, fusion aspects, classic RPG combat. They added DQ11 to the PS Extra log not too long ago, so I might jump in with that one. But an opportunity to start this series off and get that monster collecting fix is something I openly accept come December. Number 5. Metaphor Rifantasio. Let's just continue with the monster squads, because this new endeavor from the Atlas team and Persona creators just oozes appeal for JRPG lovers. The character design, enemies, even the menu screens are super stylish, and the core gameplay of world, dungeon exploration, and monster-fueled turn-based combat appear in full force. In the words of the great Jeff Amir, the courageous second-place finisher at the open bracket Gruster Cinco Championship Series event this past January.
I want to throw my wallet at the screen right now, but the shit is empty.
This bun should still be in the oven for a bit more as it's got a 2024 generic release date, but whenever this makes way to release, I'm sure it's going to be a big one. Number 4. Judas. It's been quite a while since we've heard from Ken Levine and his Ghost Story game squad, but as someone who still holds the original BioShock in a beautiful rose-colored wine shoe, plasmid juicing and turret hacking, underwater junkie-filled dystopia, everything about this game screams spiritual successor to the System Shock spiritual successor. Ken's apparent fetishization of crackheads and turrets and shooting electricity at enemies standing in water puddles is a-okay in my book, while the story looks less like shitting on Ayn Rand objectivism and more taking on homogenized ideals of love and a quest for repentance. I'm happy to see this new project finally starting to materialize into something I can hopefully play next year? ? We finally made our way to the top 3 games in development that I'd love the most to play right now if I could. But before we get to the bronze, silver, and sweet gold, I want to give a shout out to a few honorable mentions / rumors. There are other confirmed games that have my eye for sure, but these are more of a personal wish list of games that will probably eventually come out, but aren't really confirmed yet. First off would be all the signs pointing towards a Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl sequel, some supposedly leaked box art, and details of Squidward and Jimmy Neutron are floating out there, but nothing official has been said either way. The original Nazby is honestly my favorite platform fighter outside of Smash Bros, and that's arguably my favorite genre of games, so I'd love to see a sequel that does a bit more to look polished and give more single player content. as well as overall support and fixins that are common with multiplayer games nowadays. Next honorable mention would be whatever Daniel Mullins is cooking up. Pony Island was all that type of meta, weird, Satanism goo, dressed in a simple premise that I love, and I'm just a big fan of everything he's released since. Inscription being my favorite game of 2021, and The Hex probably my favorite video game about video games. If you love stuff that deconstructs and parodies a game genre while simultaneously doing that genre really well, The Hex and Inscription couldn't get a bigger push from me. And as Daniel Mullins is a big fan of game jams and putting out tiny projects that grow into bigger ones, I'll happily take some new, twisted creation from the mind of Ryan Reynolds whenever it arrives. Last might be a bit unexpectedly obvious, but it's getting to the time where we might hear news of Smash 6 soon. Yes, it seems like Sakurai's moved on to being a game dev YouTuber, I suppose? And I definitely don't wish for that man to be working any extra. But Smash created a genre, is a constant top seller for Nintendo, introduces so many people to new series under their banner, and is just such a force in gaming that part of me can't believe the series is over. Everyone is here seems pretty impossible to top, so I'd expect a reboot of some kind for the next Nintendo system. But from the series that almost had James Bond and will grab at everything from Final Fantasy to Wii Fit, I wouldn't put anything out of the equation. Alrighty then, without any further ado, Crust Lansington presents the top 3 Grusters' Anticipation of Grust Awards. Drum roll please. Number 3, Jumanji Wild Adventures. Number 2, Gourd. And my number 1 most anticipated game, Ebenezer and the Invisible World. That's all, folks. Good night. Slap till you drop. Don't you stop that slapping. Oh no, don't you slap till you drop. Slap till you drop. Don't you get to stopping. Oh, you better keep it that slap. Slap till you drop. Don't you stop that slap. Alright, while he's still slopping, courtesy of Duster Slophouse, will slop you up good. Let's actually finish this list with my real top 3 most anticipated games at the moment. Taking home bronze at number 3 is Rivals 2. With a complete graphic overhaul, inclusion of classic mechanics like shield and grab, and an extremely strong base game and community to build off of, Rivals of Aether 2 is looking to be one of the best overall releases of 2024 and help continue the strong wave of new platform fighters. I never got much into playing Rivals 1 myself, but watching here and there has been fun, and I definitely appreciate a game that tries to follow in the fast and fluid style of Melee while still being its own title, with a varied character roster with pretty unique abilities. Hopefully Rivals 2 arrives sooner rather than later in the 2024 cycle, but whenever it drops you can catch me messing around with Frog Chic. Snagging the silver at number 2 is...
When I designed Meat Boy, I designed him as a boy without skin. He is meat, he is boy meat, he is a skinless boy.
Mewgenics. Yargg. Meow. Common things that might be said by any member of your kitty squad in upcoming tactical roguelike Mewgenics. The newest title from Binding of Isaac and Super Meat Boy creator Edmund McMillan, this game is probably the one on this list that's been in development the longest, with its teaser first coming out around a decade ago. This game looks like it takes the abundance of abilities and items in Binding of Isaac and flips it into a tactical RPG where your team is assembled by the true royalty of this planet, cats. In terms of replayability, I consider Binding of Isaac one of the best games to just always enjoy picking up and doing a run in, always feeling a new aspect of something. Taking that level of roguelike customization and run variance, and combining it with a game where I make a team of kitties? Yeah, I was sold from the jump. And all the developer updates just point at even more juicy mechanics and interactions that will surely make this a game that delivers hours upon hours of value. 2020 Fur couldn't get here soon enough. And finally, taking home the Gruster's Gold, my #1 most anticipated game at the moment, Hades 2. Very few games, I'd say, truly hit on all cylinders. I've loved Pokemon for over 2 decades, but I can't say I'm ever mind blown by the story or single player challenge anymore. Series like Zelda and God of War have been consistently amazing journeys for me, but often come with a known expiration date that I'll eventually hit 100% and do all that needs to be done. And while I greatly enjoy puzzly escape room type gameplay, my immense love of Kotaro Uchikoshi works and mysteries like Danganronpa are more front-ended in the appreciation for the quirky characters and sneaky twisty plots, where I put it above most other game storylines. Hades, however, is a game that does it all for me, en max. Wrapped in a decadent art style dripping with the distinct players of Greek mythology, everything looks and sounds beautiful to the nth degree. Core gameplay rings like an addiction in the back of your mind, wanting to explore all the combinations of godly upgrades and legendary fusion moves, with an amazingly well done system for overall progress between your runs, in addition to possibly my favorite system for difficulty in any game ever with the heat system, allowing you to curate what hindrances appear as you up the difficulty level. Not much is known of Hades 2 other than its trailer and existence, but even if the team at Supergiant Games literally just reskinned Hades with a different story / protagonist and different gods for the upgrades, it'd still be #1 on this list. However, I have a feeling we'll have quite a few mechanical additions as well and surprises to look forward to when Hades 2 releases, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on news for when early access arrives. And there you have it. The Gruster's list of anticipatory gaming greatness. Did your most anticipated game make the cut? What are some games you're excited for that might go under the radar? If you want more top 10 lists or anticipatory game talk or whatever, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to give a like and subscription to the channel, the support is super appreciated. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, keep it gooey. Now it's out of this world again. Say, you're looking like a dime out of this world indeed. Looking like a dynamite out of this world indeed. Ooh, you're out of this world again.